Hey, back with another video. Taking a look at Figma. Figma is an interface design tool similar to Adobe XD and Sketch. It's a cloud-based software. You can use it in a browser. We installed it initially at the beginning of the tutorial series with Homebrew. If you want to check that video out, I'll post that link down below in the description. I personally like using the desktop version, even though it's cloud-based. Maybe the browser slows it down. I'm not really sure. I do find it a little bit slower on the browser than it is on the desktop. Now you'll need to sign up to Figma before we get started. You can do that by going to figma.com here. And you can just click on the sign up button over here on the top right. It's a free sign up. There is a free tier. There's also several paid tiers, but for our use, the free tier works. Now what you can do here is you can sign up with Google or you can create an account with your email or password. I'm not going to do that. I've already signed up. Now I'll log in. I signed up with Google. And I'll log in. And let me map that up and I'll open up Figma. Let's compare the two for the web version and the desktop version. Here they are side by side. They're pretty much identical. I think what they do is they take the web version and place it within a frame or a web view within the desktop application. I think that's what they kind of do. Maybe there's a little bit more to it than that. But I do find the desktop version faster than the web version. I don't know, maybe if you have a lot of tabs open in the browser, it may slow it down. I'm going to use the desktop version though, but keep the web version in the background. Let's take a look at the interface. On the welcoming screen, we get 4 files here, 4 sample files that Figma provides us. Up here, we have a plus button to create a new file, and up here, so quickly, right away, you can just start designing if you have something in mind. Up here is your settings. You can check out your settings here, what plugins you have, what teams you belong to. Search is, you can search all your files. If you have a lot of files, right now we have nothing, so there's nothing to really search for. This was our welcome screen. Community allows us to search for plugins and files that the community shares. So you can, if you're looking for something, there may be something out there that you can kind of get some inspiration from. Drafts are where files are initially created and you can move them into your projects. So you can go here and drag them into your different projects. Team. So this is your team area where in the free tier you can add one more team member. You can have up to 3 projects. We have one here that's empty, so that's taking that up. And there's a design system project here. And we can create one more. Now we're not limited to just 3 projects, and in each project you can have multiple files. So you're not limited to just 3 or 4 files. You have a lot. And you can also go and create over here more teams at the free tier. So you can have multiple of these kind of containers where you're able to have one team here, and you don't even need to have a team. You can just be by yourself. So if you have you have a client, you can have one for every client if you want to do that. Now, if you get bigger where you need to have a bigger team, then you'll have to go beyond the free tier. The biggest limitation for the free tier is the design system. You can't go and create component libraries. You can't customize team libraries. You have to be in the professional tier to do that. So I can't go and within the design system create a bunch of components and share them within all the other projects. We can only do that at the local level, document level. We can't do it at the team level here unless you sign up for the professional tier. That basically covers the interface here. I want to get out of this. I don't want to create a team. So let's go back here. I want to go and install a couple plugins. Let's go and do that. Go to community. And here we can go at the top here and search. I'm going to do Lorem. And hit and install this. And I want to do unsplashed. Oh, there we go. Install this. This is that popular. You just type in U and it finds it. And we can go to our profile here and see that we installed these two. Let's take a look at some of these sample files here. I'm just going to grab all of these and duplicate them. Let's go into Figma Basics. I think it goes into some keyboard shortcuts and just kind of the basics of how it works. If I hit Z, I can zoom in, or I can do Shift 1, hold Z and click, you can zoom in. And if you hit space, you can pan. The way that Figma works is they create frames, similar to what other design applications have. They have artboards, kind of like predominantly Illustrator. Now, to do that, you can hit F. But if I hit F on the right-hand side, this kind of panel here, it gives us a bunch of preset options. There's some community ones, social ones if you're doing social posts, some paper ones, watch, desktop. If we're designing for web, we'd probably be using these and some phones for mobile. Okay, now what we can do here is select the frame tool. So I can hit F, or you can click here, and click and drag along the dotted line. I'm gonna go and do that. And the interface for Figma is very intuitive. It snaps and gives information about the right stuff, I find. Now, as we're going through the interface, I'll kind of point those things out. So constraints. Now, working in other non-interface type design tools, you can kind of just place elements in certain containers or your artboard, and they kind of just stay there statically. Now, the difference with Figma, I don't know if this is going to do it. Okay, so usually it's more like this when you're using non-interface design tools, minus this being snapped to the bottom. On this one, if I resize it, it's going to stretch, and it makes it feel more like how a browser would interact, or your device would interact with your interface. And you can do that by these constraints here. Here, it's telling it to be the same amount of distance that it is all the time. So it's going to stretch from left and right, and it should be always that distance from the top. And same with this one, and same with this one. So you can tell it to be left and right, the same distance that it is always from the top. If I went ahead and did this down here, and this was some kind of footer thing, I told it to be at the bottom, that's going to be fixed to the bottom. But right away, it acts very much like a browser, what a front-end developer would be looking at when developing. This is their component. What you can do is you can create these components. If you ever used Flash, when I first used Figma and created a component, I'm like, oh, this is like very similar to Flash, where you create a movie clip and you'd have a reusable object and you just drag instances of it out. Now, Flash wasn't an interface design tool. It was a rich web applications, timeline, animation, things like that. It was kind of before JavaScript started becoming the lead role in building out web applications. Before SEO was a thing where you couldn't really index any of your Flash files. That's what creating these components remind me of. If I go ahead here, you can go ahead and click here, Option Command K to create a component, or I can just do Option Command K. You can also right click and create a component here. So I'll just do that. And this is chat list item. If I go here into assets, I can just drag this out and place it into here. And again, this is what I mean by the Figma interface is really intuitive is as I'm doing this, it's giving me the right kind of information here. It's telling me it's 21 and a half, 19 and a half from the top. It's giving me these kind of guides for where I need to snap, where it's snapping to. So it's giving me the right information, the information that I need, that other non-interface design tools wouldn't do. Let's drag that out. Can I do another one? Okay, so I have a bunch of those. I think I need to. Okay, so we have, well, that one doesn't have it. Okay, so we have those. Now, the cool thing about this is I can make a change to all of these and they'll all change. And I can make, let's call this Mike. And Mario. Okay, so we have 3, but I can also go here and change some stuff. Hey guys. Okay, so all those change, but I can also make it at these kind of instance levels here as well. And I can make a change to here. So I made the change for these names, and this changed it globally for all of them, unless I make a change here. And if I do, okay, so that will change. And if I make a change here, nothing. But this guy, Mike, asked, "Hey guys, what are you up to?" Nothing, 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 nothing. That makes it very reusable. You make one thing here, and you can make the changes everywhere. Styles. What you can do here is you can create these styles. Here, I'll show you here. Now, this color here, I can go and click here. And yeah, let's go browse library. And I'm going to turn on this web dev team library. Okay, so there's these pre-built colors. I can go and change that to there. And let's change this to white. Okay, so we have this fuchsia 100 color, and this is actually coming in from our design system. Now, this is what the free tier will allow us to do is we can create a bunch of colors, and we can also create, let me change this one if it allows me to. It allows me to go and change the text, and I can make it a header. So we have 3 headers. Let me change it to that. We have 3 headers and 6 colors within our design system. We can build out more text styles and color kind of themes, but that's kind of the extent that we get out of the free tier for our design system. Now we can also go and create another style if we want. Say this is what we want. We want this. Let's say we want this as our default text. So we can go here, click here, text, message, box, text. Okay, we want this to be the default. What is it? Click on it. It's Roboto regular 13 with this. Okay, now I want those all to have the same style. I'm going to do that and that. Now the color's off. Now these 2, I want these to be black because it's on this kind of gray black. So let's go ahead and fill color. And we'll make it black. And this one, I want this one back to being this fuchsia color. I can do that by going here, and actually this should have been white. These are our received messages, and these are, usually it's the opposite. We get this colored version for our sent messages, and our received are this kind of color. But, you know, just pretend we reversed it. we can create these kind of styles locally. If we click here, so these are our local ones, and this is our team library within our design system. Now, if you have a bunch of these that you want to keep consistent, that's a good way to keep it consistent. We can also go ahead and change this. So if we want this to be a little bit different, we want it to be 15, just so we can see something different. A little bit too big. Let's go back to 13. We can also change the font, and it'll change it. So this is a way to do to make these types of changes without it being a component. You can also do condensed, change the fonts. I'll leave it back as default there. Let's take a look at smart selections. So what we can do here is let's select these, and I can quickly move those. Maybe these two. And we can also go like this. We can change the spacings between these if we want. We can tell it to go by there. Let's reverse that back. And with 11, we can also do that same smart kind of selection there. And bring this back up here. Exporting. We can export our images here. So we can select our frame here, and down at the bottom you can export. If you hit export here, you can choose your PNG, SVG if it's vector, PDF if you want to do that, JPEG. Typically you'd use PNG if there's transparencies. JPEG also is okay. It's a smaller file size, so if you're concerned about speed and you just want to get something quick out, you can do JPEG as well. And you can give it a prefix if you want. Now it takes the name of your frame, so this is going to be logged out. And if I save it, export it out, it's going to prompt me, and it's going to tell me to log out.png. Okay, let's quickly just save it. I'm going to put it in desktop. And this is what we have. So that kind of covers up the basics of Figma. Okay, let me close out of this. Okay, let's take a look quickly at prototyping. I'm not going to go into how to prototype, but I want to show you what it's like. Now, you have your designs file here. Okay, we have an opening screen here and different instances. So we have this kind of app similar to, I guess, an Instagram-ish style app. Now, if we hit prototyping, we can see kind of the web here, or how they all connect. We have this login here that goes to this frame. We got register that goes to this frame. And then if you go to register, it'll go here. You log in, it goes here. And your home screen, you can scroll here, scroll horizontally. Okay, let's take a look. So it gives us some basic animations as well. So I'm going to hit login. And if you don't know where to click, it'll kind of highlight. I can go back if I want to. I can go in. I can scroll here. And I can also scroll here. And let's see if I can click more. Okay, so we can go search. I do search here. Keyboard comes up. It's going to search for dog. And I can scroll here. Click here. And it loads more. Okay, so that's pretty good. What else is there? Got chat. Click here. So some basic slide in animations to kind of prototype our design. And there you go. So I think there's a little bit more animations. You can like animate some elements, some icons as well. But I don't think they put that into this example. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys the basic capabilities of the prototyping within Figma. Okay, so that's kind of the whole web of connections here. If I zoom out. Let's close that. Okay, so this video is getting a little bit longer. I'm gonna stop the video here and we'll have a part 2 on creating something within Figma. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Hey, if you've gotten this far, thanks for the support. This will help the channel grow. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to click the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below. To stay updated with the latest content from the channel, you can subscribe by clicking right here in the middle.